Whenever you think of a video game, or at least whenever I think of one, I usually think of a sort of collection of individuals that came together to go and create an interactive experience that you are buying yourself. And this can range from some like 10 to like even one person groups creating these games, or it could be hundreds of individuals who you can call them designers, technicians, world builders, whatever name you want to give them, that's what they are. But imagine if you saw none of that. And I don't really mean like none of that, I just mean that there are like some level of mechanics that you can utilize inside of the game, and there obviously is an engine that has some level of interactivity just for players who want to go and jump into it. But rather, as a foundation, the game is being constructed by these game designers, and the individuals who want to go and expand upon it with like the weird appendages they want to can go and do so, either third-party companies or just other single individuals wanting to go and create something with that foundation. And that's an example of a monstrosity you can make. Well, if you've been on the internet for the past 17 years, Roblox is the perfect example of this, as it is called an online gaming platform, allowing anyone to go and essentially create anything with inside of the engine, as long as they create something with inside the limitations of the engine, and at the same time can upload it on their site and then make sure it doesn't like violate any terms of services, which that is not saying much. What comes from this site, though, are genuine games that other people can develop and create within these parameters. And it's something that's incredibly important for somebody who just wants to get into game design, especially kids, because that's kind of like the main demographic of Roblox. And there's also like a little bit of a weird thing where they take advantage of that audience of children who literally create content for free onto that site and don't know any better, so they don't get paid as much as they probably should for creating free content on these sites, which usually take way more hours than any other like creative thing you can find here. Probably even this video right now wouldn't take as long as some of the things that these people create and get little to no money out of. So, hey, it gets people to want to do game design, and that's what I care about. However, there's a very big issue with free tools being used on Roblox's site, with the major caveat of kind of like the Unity effect happening, where people will upload games on that Roblox site, and they'll look fairly similar between like each and every other Roblox game that you would find, because, well, they're using the same engine as their base, and sometimes they just utilize the same assets that other games do utilize because maybe there's just a freer marketplace for it. And the other downside being that since Roblox needs to be pushed out to multiple people of varying demographics, you really can't have any sort of mature themes inside of these mods, which is still going to be a fine thing, but it does restrict freedom of individuals trying to go and create what they want to create within inside of these engines. Now, this is where Starfield comes into play, as I feel like it will differentiate itself heavily from games like Roblox by it having such a robust creation kit, which will allow modders to go and want to easily get into the scene, especially with the developments that we've seen recently with them wanting to go and update the Wikipedia site that the creation kit is on. But at the same time, the linear gameplay but expansive world space that they'll be having inside the game, at least said by Todd Howard, will allow people to make mods that won't conflict with other mods, which is like, it doesn't seem like a big deal, but it genuinely is a big deal, because modders don't have to go and put forth as much effort as they have to, back then, in order for them to go and have compatibility between landscape mods or home mods, or just the most basic things you could think of, like adding in like a dog in an area and then, uh-oh, looks like my quest has incompatibility with this entire landscape or something like that. Those issues won't really happen anymore if there's, 1,000 worlds. And now all of this is possible. All this could happen because the creation kit is known to be good. I feel like they would expand on it, hopefully, and allow people to go and have access to it. Therefore, more modders will come into the Bethesda modding scene, which is already a big enough scene as it is. What matters, though, is if Starfield gets big enough, and also retains that audience. Now, before I talk into detail about Starfield, I want you to know this is just the start of me talking about Starfield, with this video being created before the game even came out, and also a video I'll have later on down the road, which has been taking me a long time, that will go and talk about just modding at large, and also includes a fairly large snippet of what I believe Starfield will be. And what's gonna be funny is that this video is gonna come out before that one, and that video is more core to my feelings about Starfield than this one. This is more of the optimistic, go happy, go lucky version of me that believes there is some good inside of Starfield that we will be seeing soon. That older video that I mentioned is actually very old, like written all the way back in October of 2022, and I believe actually the interview that I did with a few of the Skyrim modders was actually around that time. But I do want to give huge thanks to Mern, because Mern is like a YouTuber but also Skyrim modder who essentially got me to talk with a lot of the individuals that I'll be seeing, like you'll be seeing in the video I'll be having down the line. So I gotta give thanks to Mern where I had to give thanks to him. Subscribe to Mern. I'm shilling out for him. Fuck Sway's Reshade. I fucking hate Sway's Reshade. If I hear that one more goddamn. However, I'd like to apologize for not getting that video out on time. I really should have gotten that video out before Starfield released, and my lazy ass plus college was not a good combo. So now you have, you know, this video to munch on for a little bit as a little bit of filler in between, and also for me to say, I'm back. Now, I'm serious whenever I say that Starfield needs a large and sustained audience of modders in order for that claim of mine to even be near true. As while something like Skyrim has an obscenely large modding scene, it is not going to fully transition over from, you know, Skyrim to Starfield because of genres, and also just because Skyrim is a very old game. I mean, it's been out for a decade and it has had at least like 2 versions on PC, not counting the GOG version, so obviously people trying to go and move over from Starfield to Skyrim is just not going to really happen. And if you don't know anything about the Skyrim modding scene, I'll give you a few examples with my reactions to them. That's crazy. Oh my... Kill it, kill it, kill it. What is that? Oh my, oh, I don't think that should be on any site ever. Why did you create that? Wowie pizzowie. That's some big knockers. What a truly marvelous thing. Like who thought of this? Genuinely, like it's so smart. I couldn't even think about this. Now, the modding scene for Starfield will definitely be fairly big as people want to go and try the new Bethesda game, and modders want to go and try to mod the new Bethesda game, especially the donation points. But at the same time, how long will that actually last? I mean, the thing is that Starfield is the first unique IP that Bethesda Game Studios actually has, you know, made themselves. As even something like Elder Scrolls was held by Bethesda Softworks and not by the game studio, which means the development team, the people who are actually developing the game, are making this IP and not any sort of publishers who are going to, like, you know, tell them to go and make another Fallout 50,000 later on down the line. This means that Bethesda Game Studios and its publishers are only really depending on a couple of things for the success of Starfield. Number one, Starfield being a new IP, so people will have interest in that. The Starfield's trailers, which were pretty well received and looked quite beautiful. The mixed opinions of their audience whenever, you know, a Bethesda game gets released, because there's a good history of them having very buggy games on launch. And oh yeah, also the genre that they're playing into right now, which is a space game that is essentially a free open world. That's also very ambitious and very few people can pull that off. But I think the most important part is the modding scene and what they can go and do to make the game as profitable as possible for Bethesda. However, and I say this with a little bit of shame, I did buy the Starfield modding game for a couple of reasons. And no, just hold your pitchforks, hold them still. Number one, I think the modding scene is probably gonna make the game good, even if it is bad on launch, which it most likely will. Number two, I genuinely think the Creation Engine 2 that they're hinting at is going to be the next step in modding as a whole when it comes to AAA video games. And number three, this is the most important part, again, of this section. You have to keep this in the back of your mind and retain it. I'm a content creator. Do not pre-order your games. Just don't pre-order your games. I'm a content creator. I need to make slop every day, okay? You don't have to make slop. I have to make slop. Wait for dumbasses like me to do that. Bethesda's secret selling point is something that only really PC buyers can understand, as the Creation Engine 2, at least as stated by Todd Howard, is going to be as pivotal and even bigger than the change from Morrowind's engine to Oblivion's. And that can be a semi-big statement. If you don't know, and you should, Todd Con Artist Howard has an infamous legacy of making up random jargon and numbers to go and try to appease to an audience and just chill his game out, which honestly is like a lot of other announcers out there, but he tries his damnness to go and make up a bunch of random things that don't even make any sense to the average gamer. Like 16 times the detail is a classic one, because what does that actually mean? Like between what? He just said 16 times the detail. Like with it, he's genuinely a very intelligent guy who chills and cons anybody he can find, and because of that, the Bethesda audience, including me, didn't really trust him whenever he started talking about how grandiose Starfield would be. But then the Starfield 2023 trailer came out, and it wet my whistle for sore. Many of the aspects that could be attributed to the creation engine's limitations and also just Bethesda's quality has been improved drastically without the entirety of Starfield's trailers. I mean, the models that were created by the team seem to be more cohesive, the gunplay a lot better, the facial animation, actual facial animations, and the lighting. Oh my god, the lighting is just so damn good. This made me believe that Starfield will actually push a new revolution of modding within sort of AAA games in particular, because the creation kit already has such diverse tools and they can only expand forward on that whenever it comes to Starfield's release. And the only other game that I could think of that is a AAA game that has modding tools is technically Cyberpunk 2077's Red Mod, but even then, it isn't really a tool because you need to use a third-party tool called Wolverine Kit, or for you to actually be able to alter anything within inside of the game through like a UI that anyone can go and digest. And even then, that's not really even a first-party app. That's still a third-party development tool that dates all the way back to Witcher 3. And even if we don't get anything new inside the Creation Kit 2 for modders to experiment with, I still believe that because of the upgrade to the engine to such modern standards, we won't have a lot of issues that we've had before in Bethesda titles, like the light limit. Like, look at that lighting. There's no way that it has a light limit, right? Also, Starfield, unlike Roblox, is a game that you can have centralized on your computer, which is incredibly important whenever it comes to the creation of mods, because now you won't have to go and upload your mods onto like a bigger site, or at least in this case for Roblox, your games onto a different site, which has to be oriented towards family-friendly content. And instead, you can create more mature themes inside of your games, or at least your mods in this case, that you can then go and publish on any site that you want to, which is like half of the mods I see on the Nexus. However, Starfield being a revolutionary modding platform doesn't mean just titty mods or just better lighting. It actually comes down to a specific claim that Todd Howard said, and is something that is kind of the focal point of this video that I mentioned a couple of times. The 1,000 planet claim. This claim is constantly repeated over and over again by the people who make the game and showcase it, as their claim overall I feel like is a bit absurd. Essentially, the idea is that there is 1,000 worlds that exist within inside of the game that are explorable, with most of them having pre-procedurally generated, so it's more believable, planet-sized landscapes that you can explore, with some of them having a few hand-picked locations in them, which I don't know how much there is really whenever it comes to 1,000 worlds, but, you know, I just call bullshit on that claim overall. I really don't believe that they'll be able to do, you know, that level of detail whenever it comes to each and every one of these planets. But let's just say the hypothetical that they did that at least for, you know, 1/10 of the planets that existed. And in reality, 900 of those planets are just planets you get resources from and are completely desolate, or just don't even allow you to go on there, kind of like a Mass Effect kind of situation. If that is the case, that still means that there is 100 planet-sized locations that modders can go and alter to whatever degree they want to do. The only other game that surpasses the level of modability that we would see inside of Starfield, but at the same time allows the user configurability that you wouldn't see in something like Roblox, would be, funnily enough, the other Microsoft-owned game, Minecraft, as it would allow people to go and, you know, add in mods into a procedurally generated world that is theoretically infinite, but in reality has a hard cap at like the millions upon millions of blocks. So there really isn't a limit to that landscape, but there is a limit to how much is usable. And while that is the case that Minecraft is a procedurally generated world, so you can't really have the same experience over and over again on repeat playthroughs through Minecraft, it's still important to go and bring up that the only other game that is equal to it is a game that literally is procedurally generated. Like, you really can't get anything bigger than Starfield until some other game tries to go and surpass it. This is the void that I feel like Starfield can fill in, especially for new modders in particular, as the developments with the creation kit's Wikipedia, alongside them essentially, or at least I believe, updating the creation kit for newer modders makes me understand that they are trying to get individuals into the door of modding through Starfield. And I feel like that's reinforced with the multiple landscapes that they are going to be developing with inside of the engine that will allow modders to go and put in any works that they have into the game without having any more conflicts that we've seen in previous Bethesda titles. And you can actually see this mod conflicting issue with Anniversary Edition whenever it released, as the Creation Club mods that were officially vetted by Bethesda has actually caused a lot of issues for mods that were on the Nexus before, being placed on top of quest locations or doors that would completely block you out from actually playing the game unless you no-clipped through everything to that specific door. Now, some might be asking, why did I bring up the Creation Club? That has nothing to do with modding at all. Like, there's no need to talk about the Creation Club, right? Well, kind of. Like, I did mention the conflict thing, but I think I have to wait later on down the road before I can go and talk about anything else. So I would just say stick around. This is just the teaser for that video, inevitably. All right, if you want to click off this video, specifically anyone from Bethesda or modders from Skyrim, you can go and do so. I'll just be sitting here. Okay, all right, are they gone? Yes, I'm trusting you. Okay. Cool. I have been able to figure out the biggest breakthrough whenever it comes to modding. And this is something that is magnitudes level more destructive than you could think of. I mean, every single bit of it, everything you could think of about modding is going to break when this happens, okay? The absurd monetization of games that we've seen nowadays is just linking the issue that we see. And whenever you connect the dots together like how I did and how I'll explain to you, it is going to be absurd. I'm just gonna go and give you the thesis statement, but please, whatever you do, don't tell a living person any of this. Okay? Are you ready? Okay. The creation... Oh, Jeebus, who was that kooky clown? Anyways, hello! Welcome to the actual end of the video. I am living and breathing and doing stuff now. At least I will try to. I'll be doing maybe a live stream after this video whenever it releases. And also, hello, family and friends. How are you doing? Doing alrightish myself. But otherwise, thank you for watching to the end of the video. That's something that people don't usually do, and I very much appreciate that. Like, I do it with specific videos or like long form content usually, but like, this is a pretty short video, so I don't believe anyone would. If you are here, I have a Patreon. You can go there if you want to. I'll be trying to post more like behind the scenes things that are there that aren't really like integral to this video. I want this stuff to be accessible to anybody. But I also do want to get patrons to get money, because that would be nice. I like to eat food. It's crazy. But yeah, you can go and do that if you want to. I won't be shilling out the basic stuff on YouTube, because it's there, you know what to do. I'm not gonna tell you to do that, like, it's goofy, but the Patreon might be something that you don't know about, so there you go. Also wanna go and shill out a YouTuber, Spaceman Scott. I watched one of his videos recently, his most recent video, and it's genuinely a good watch. I don't think he has enough subscribers than what he already has. This is just gonna be here because I watched it recently, like his first video about like, what was it? It was like Undertale and like FNAF or something like that. And I was like, wow, that's a really well-made video. So I recommend everyone else watches it. Very well made, very long form too. So it's good if you like essay style videos. Otherwise, I don't really have much else to say. I'll be doing more video stuff. I have the other video I still need to edit, and I might be trying to do more videos, at least a month, that I can do that aren't going to be as long as like 20-ish minutes or so, but maybe around this time, maybe. And I'll trying to live stream. I just won't put on a face cam. I'll just be playing like whatever game I want to play. It's easy to play, so yeah. All right, I will see you all later, probably, or today, because whenever I release this video, I'll be seeing you today. Also, green screen video. You can use that if you want to. Forgot to mention that too. Green screen video. Boom. Very funny. I'm pretty tired, as you can tell. I'm always fucking tired. What am I talking about?